I wore navy to my father's retirement party because someone told me it photographs better than black. My brother Marcus showed up in a polo shirt that still had the store creases in it, like he'd bought it on the way over. His wife Ashley wore heels so high she had to grab his arm just to walk across the lawn. The backyard was full of people I half recognized. Dad's former colleagues from the engineering firm, neighbors from when we were kids, my Aunt Diane, who always brought potato salad to everything. They all smiled at me the way people smile at someone doing a good deed. Pity smile. Obligation smile, the kind that says, well, someone had to do it. Marcus worked the crowd like he was running for office. Handshakes, shoulder pats, that laugh he saves for when he wants something. Ashley stood next to him, scrolling through her phone, occasionally looking up to smile at whoever Marcus was charming. I'd been living at the lake house for 5 years, ever since Dad had the stroke. He was 70 now, mostly recovered but slower, quieter. Some days he'd forget what day it was. Some days he'd look at me like he was trying to place my face. Early stage Alzheimer's, the doctor said. Manageable for now. Marcus visited twice a year, Christmas and Thanksgiving. Never stayed longer than dinner. Never asked how Dad was doing in any specific way. Just, how's the old man? Like he was asking about the weather. The party was my idea. 70 years old, 42 years at the same company. It seemed like something worth celebrating. I'd ordered a cake shaped like a blueprint. Dad had laughed at that. A real laugh, the kind I didn't hear as often anymore. Around 4 o'clock, Marcus clinked his glass with a fork. The backyard went quiet. He had that look on his face, the one he used to have before high school presentations. Confident, rehearsed. I just want to say a few words about Dad, he started. People smiled. Someone said, here, here. Dad's worked his whole life, sacrificed everything for this family. And now that he's finally retiring, Ashley and I have been talking with him about the next chapter. I felt my stomach drop. The lake house has been in our family for 30 years. Beautiful memories there. But it's also a lot of upkeep, a lot of expenses. And Dad and I have agreed that it makes sense to sell it. Use the equity to make sure he's comfortable. And to help me restructure my business so I can focus more on family. The backyard was silent. Not the good kind of silent. The awkward kind. My mother, standing next to the cake table, nodded. Your father wants to see Marcus succeed before he's gone. It's what any parent would want. Ashley smiled. The kind of smile you give when you've already spent the money in your head. I looked at Dad. He was staring at his cake, not confused, just tired, like he'd had this conversation before and lost. I didn't say anything. Not then. I just picked up my glass and took a long drink of wine that tasted like pennies. The next morning, I met Mr. Rodriguez at his office downtown. Dad's estate attorney. He'd called me 2 days before the party, said there were documents I needed to see. I'd assumed it was medical directives, power of attorney paperwork, the kind of thing you put off until you can't anymore. Mr. Rodriguez was older than Dad, gray suit, glasses on a chain. He'd been handling Dad's legal work since before I was born. Sarah? He said, standing when I walked in. Thank you for coming. Of course. He gestured to a chair. I sat. He sat. He pulled a folder from his desk drawer. It was labeled with Dad's name and a date. 2015. Your father transferred the lake house into your name 9 years ago, he said. I stared at him. What? The deed was recorded with the county in March of 2015. The house is yours, has been for 9 years. But Dad never said anything. He asked me not to tell you. He said he didn't want you to feel obligated to stay. He wanted you to make that choice on your own. Mr. Rodriguez slid the folder across the desk. I opened it. There was the deed. My name, the legal description of the property, the date, the county stamp. There's also this, Mr. Rodriguez said. He pulled out a small flash drive. Your father recorded a video, the same day he signed the transfer. He asked me to show it to you if there was ever any question about his intentions. He plugged the flash drive into his computer and turned the screen toward me. The video was grainy. Dad sat in this same office, 9 years younger, sharper. He wore a button-down shirt and looked directly at the camera. Sarah, his voice said, if you're watching this, it means someone's questioning what I did. Probably Marcus. Maybe your mother. I want you to know why I did this. You gave up your career to take care of me after the stroke. You moved into the lake house without me asking. You've been there every morning, every night. You've driven me to doctor's appointments. You've cooked meals I can actually eat. You've learned how to manage medications I can't pronounce. You've never asked for anything in return. Marcus calls twice a year. Asks how I'm doing. Never asks what he can do. Last month, he called and asked for $50,000 for his business. I gave it to him. He hasn't called since. The house is yours, Sarah. Not because I don't love your brother, but because you earned it. You showed up. That matters more than blood. The video ended. I sat there, staring at the blank screen. Did Marcus ever pay back that $50,000? I asked. Mr. Rodriguez shook his head. Not a dollar. I drove home. Not to the lake house. To my apartment. The one I'd kept, even though I hadn't slept there in 5 years. I needed to think. I needed to not be around Dad while I processed this. My phone rang around 7. Mom. Sarah, Marcus told me about the lawyer meeting. He wasn't at the lawyer meeting. He said you're trying to take the house from your father. I almost laughed. Mom, Dad gave me the house. 9 years ago. It's legally mine. He has Alzheimer's, Sarah. He doesn't know what he's doing. He didn't have Alzheimer's in 2015. Marcus needs that money. His business is failing. He's losing everything. That's not my problem. He's your brother. He's a grown man who borrowed $50,000 from Dad and never paid it back. Silence. How do you know about that? She asked. Because, unlike Marcus, I actually talked to Dad's lawyer. She hung up. I didn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about that video. Dad's voice. You showed up. The next day I drove to the lake house. Dad was in the living room watching a nature documentary about whales. He smiled when I walked in. There's my girl, he said. Hey, Dad. I sat next to him on the couch. We watched whales for a while. I didn't know how to start the conversation. Didn't know if I should. Dad, I finally said. Did you mean what you said? In the video? He looked at me. Clear eyes. Focused. Every word. Marcus is talking about selling the house. I know. Your mother called me last night. Said I should reconsider. What did you tell her? I told her the house is yours. That's not going to change. He went back to watching whales. 2 days later, I got a call from a realtor. Susan Peterson. She sounded cheerful in that aggressive way realtors do. Hi, is this Sarah Chen? Yes. I'm calling about the property listing for the lake house. I just wanted to confirm the showing time for tomorrow at 2 p.m. I didn't list the lake house. Pause. I have paperwork signed by Marcus Chen. He said. He has power of attorney. He doesn't. Another pause. Longer this time. I'm going to need to verify ownership before we proceed. Good idea, I said, and hung up. I called Mr. Rodriguez. Marcus is trying to sell the house. Does he have any legal authority to do that? No. Then he's committing fraud. Do you want to file a police report? Not yet. I want to catch him first. The next day at 1:45, I drove to the lake house. Dad was at adult daycare. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 to 4. It gave me time to run errands, do laundry, pretend I had a life outside of being a caretaker. I parked down the street, walked up through the woods behind the property. I could see Marcus's SUV in the driveway, Ashley's car next to it, and a white moving truck. I came around the side of the house. The front door was open. I could hear voices inside, footsteps, something heavy being dragged across the floor. I walked up the porch steps and through the front door. Marcus was in the living room directing 2 guys in matching gray shirts. They were wrapping Dad's antique radio in bubble wrap. Ashley was in the corner holding a jewelry box. Mom's jewelry box. The one Dad kept in his bedroom, even though Mom hadn't lived here in 15 years. What are you doing? I asked. They all turned. Marcus smiled, the same smile from the retirement party. Sarah. Hey, we're just getting a head start on packing. Thought we'd help Dad out. By stealing his things? Not stealing. Organizing. The realtor's coming in 15 minutes to take photos. We need the place to look good. I pulled out my phone. What are you doing? Ashley asked. Calling the police. You can't do that, Marcus said. Dad has dementia. That property transfer isn't valid. He wasn't in his right mind. He had a stroke, Marcus. Not dementia. Not in 2015 when he signed the deed. You manipulated a sick old man. I took care of a sick old man. There's a difference. I dialed 911. 911. What's your emergency? I have people in my house removing property without permission. Marcus's face went red. Your house? This is Dad's house. No, I said. It's mine. Legally. For 9 years. The operator asked for the address. I gave it. She said officers were on the way. Ashley put down the jewelry box like it was on fire. I'm not getting arrested for this. Then leave, I said. She looked at Marcus. He didn't move. She grabbed her purse and walked out the front door. I heard her car start, heard gravel spray as she peeled out of the driveway. The 2 moving guys looked at each other. We're just contracted labor, one of them said. We didn't know there was a dispute. Put everything back where you found it, I said. Then you can go. They started unwrapping the radio. Marcus stepped toward me. You really think you're going to get away with this? Mom and I will fight you in court. We'll prove Dad wasn't competent. Go ahead, I said. I've got a video of him explaining exactly why he did it, recorded by his lawyer. 9 years ago, before the stroke, before the Alzheimer's, before any of this. His face changed. The confidence drained out of it like water. You're lying. I'm really not. A car pulled into the driveway. Sedan. Not a police cruiser. The realtor, Susan Peterson. She got out holding a clipboard and a tablet, took one look at the scene through the open door, and stopped walking. Behind her, 2 police cruisers pulled up, lights on, no sirens. 2 officers got out, one older, one younger. The older one walked up to the porch. Someone called about a property dispute? He asked. That's me, I said. These people broke into my house and are removing my belongings. It's not her house, Marcus said. It's our father's house. He has Alzheimer's. She's taking advantage of him. The officer looked at me. Do you have proof of ownership? I pulled out my phone, opened the Photos app, showed him a picture I'd taken of the deed that morning. The original is at my lawyer's office. This was recorded with the county in 2015. The officer looked at Marcus. Do you have any documentation showing you have authority to be here? I'm his son. I have implied authority. That's not how property law works, sir. The second officer walked into the house, saw the bubble wrap, the boxes, the moving guys standing there looking uncomfortable. You want to press charges? The first officer asked me. I looked at Marcus, really looked at him. Same face I'd seen across the dinner table growing up. Same person who taught me how to ride a bike. Who used to let me tag along when he went to the movies. Who'd been gone for 5 years and only came back when he wanted something. Yes, I said. The officer pulled out handcuffs. Sir, turn around and put your hands behind your back. You can't be serious. You're being arrested for attempted theft and criminal trespass. You have the right to remain silent. Marcus looked at me while the officer cuffed him. Not angry, shocked, like he genuinely believed this wouldn't happen. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Mom's car pulled into the driveway. She got out fast, took one look at Marcus in handcuffs and started yelling. What are you doing? That's my son. Ma'am, step back, the second officer said. He was just trying to help his father. He was attempting to remove property from a house he doesn't own, the first officer said. She looked at me. How can you do this to your own brother? How could he try to steal from his own father? I asked. The officers put Marcus in the back of the cruiser. Read him his rights again. The younger officer stayed to take my statement. Name. Relationship to the property. Timeline of events. Susan Peterson, the realtor, stood by her car the whole time. When the officer finished with me, she walked over. I'm so sorry, she said. Your brother showed me documents. A power of attorney. It looked legitimate. Did you verify ownership with the county? She looked down. No, I should have. That's on me. Yeah, I said. It is. She got in her car and left. Mom stayed, stood on the lawn with her arms crossed while the moving guys loaded their truck and drove away. When they were gone, she walked up to me. You know he's going to lose everything now, she said. He already lost everything, Mom. That's why he was trying to steal. This house could have saved him. This house was never his to take. Your father would want you to help your brother? I pulled out my phone, opened the video Mr. Rodriguez had given me, held it out to her. Watch this, I said. She watched. I saw her face change, saw the moment she realized Dad had been clear, had been specific, had made a choice. When it ended, she handed the phone back. He borrowed $50,000 and never paid it back. She was quiet for a long time. Then, I didn't know. Because you never asked. She got in her car, didn't say goodbye, just left. I went inside. The house was a mess. Bubble wrap everywhere. Boxes half packed. I started putting things back. The radio in its spot by the window. The books on the shelf. Mom's jewelry box back in Dad's room. My phone rang. Aunt Diane. I heard what happened, she said. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Do you need help cleaning up? I looked around at the mess. Actually, yeah, that would be great. She showed up 30 minutes later with cleaning supplies and takeout. We worked until everything was back in place, until the house looked like a house again instead of a crime scene. You did the right thing, Diane said when we finished. Doesn't feel like it. It never does, but it was still right. She hugged me and left. I sat in Dad's chair, the one by the window, the one where he used to read the newspaper every morning. I thought about the video, about his voice saying, "You showed up." I picked Dad up from adult daycare at 4. He was in a good mood. They'd done an art project, painted ceramic tiles. His had a lopsided fish on it. He was proud. "Look what I made," he said, holding it up. "That's beautiful, Dad." We drove home. He hummed along to the radio, some old song I didn't know. When we got inside, I made dinner. Chicken and rice, easy on his stomach. We ate at the kitchen table under the light he'd installed 30 years ago. "Sarah," he said between bites, "did something happen today?" I thought about lying, about protecting him from the ugliness of it, but he deserved the truth. "Marcus tried to sell the house," I said. He nodded slowly. I figured he would eventually. He was arrested. Dad put down his fork. "Did you call the police?" "Yes." He reached across the table and put his hand on mine. His skin was thin, spotted with age, but his grip was firm. "Good," he said. "That's my girl." We finished dinner. I cleaned up. Dad went to the living room and turned on his whale documentary. I joined him. We sat there watching until he fell asleep in his chair. I covered him with a blanket, turned off the TV, sat in the quiet. The next week, Mr. Rodriguez called. Marcus had been charged with forgery and attempted theft, both felonies. The district attorney was offering a plea deal, probation and restitution if he paid back the $50,000. "What do you think?" Mr. Rodriguez asked. "I think he should pay it back." "Your father agrees." Marcus took the deal, paid back the money in installments, $5,000 a month. It took him 10 months. He sold his business. Ashley filed for divorce. He moved into a studio apartment in a part of town I'd never been to. Mom started therapy, Diane told me. Said Mom was working through some things about enabling, about protecting one child at the expense of another. She called me once, asked if we could talk. I said yes. We met for coffee. It was awkward. But it was a start. Dad's Alzheimer's got worse. Slowly. Some days he knew who I was. Some days he called me by his sister's name. I kept him at home as long as I could. Hired a nurse to help during the day. Converted his office into a proper care room with a hospital bed and equipment. One morning, about a year after the arrest, Dad had a lucid moment. He was sitting in his chair by the window. I was making coffee. "Sarah," he said. I turned. His eyes were clear, focused. "Yeah, Dad? I knew you'd protect it," he said. "Protect what?" "Our home." I walked over and sat on the arm of his chair. "Of course I did." He smiled. Not the confused smile. The real one. The one from before. Then he went back to looking out the window at the lake. I thought about Marcus. About Mom. About Ashley and the jewelry box and the moving truck. I thought about all the ways families break apart over money and houses and things that don't matter as much as we think they do. But mostly I thought about showing up. About being there on the days that don't count for anything. The days that don't have parties or ceremonies or witnesses. The quiet days. The hard days. The days when nobody's watching and nobody will ever know. Those are the days that matter. Those are the days that make a home.